Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Build live from Oak Hill Works. How are we all doing this evening? I hope you are well. Oh, there's no background noise on the microphone. That's such a relief. I think I fixed it. Could be wrong about the video, but at the time it's just one from Stout more than anything. Drop the old noggin. Okay, see you in a bit then, Thomas. Enjoy your dinner. Prove that you're drawing that. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I can't touch it. It's under the glass, but it's there. I've also got a few more copies of the ends for making them up. So, yes, welcome. I hope we are all well. I hope we are all having a good evening. So, when we looked at this before, I had a break, a composite and a third. I now have 1 and a bit breaks as well in there, so that we can indeed end up with a 2 compartment break, a third, a composite and a 3 compartment break. For an authentic train makeup of the year I want to represent, I need another 3 composites in the rake, but other than that we're all good. And I don't think 7 of them would look that good on Oak Hill, to be honest. I think 4's a better number to stick with. So that's what we're doing. It should probably be 2 composites and 2 break thirds, but shh, if you don't tell anyone, I won't. I mean, obviously, if at some point I can get my hands on another 3 composites reasonably cheap, like sub 20 quid, then I will make up a full rake. But it's not going to be a priority. Hello, Corbs. Welcome. Hope you are well this evening. You have imitated my opening perfectly. Well done. Yes, James approves of authentic train makeups. Yes, as do I. So I checked them to make sure. So, for the purposes of this conversion, we are following an article from Railway Modeller, April 1985, for those of you that want to try this at home. There's my copy pinned up. In there it mentions Model Railway Constructor April and May 73 for drawings of Chatham 27-foot carriages. That's South Eastern, they're not Chatham, are they? They are South Eastern Railway. These are the drawings from the constructor April and May 73. So, now you know. Of course, the easy part of these is the third and the composite. What we're going to do is we're going to rip the roofs off. Oh, no, I've already done that. We're going to rip the glazing out, which, I'll be honest, is not very well stuck in. And it's covered in glue marks and paint, so that's going to go in the bin. And we're going to paint them. And that is going to be the extent of the work done on these. Oh, that one does still have its siding. So one of these carriages no longer has glazing. It must be the break that it just fell straight out of when I ripped the roof off. And it looks like I'm going to have to take the compartment dividers out of here for this. So I'm sure whoever made these up has nice EM gauge Great Western carriages and spent all their time getting nice interiors on them. Must be really impressed at me doing this. I've already re-gauged them to 00. This one's obviously got the glazing stuck in a bit better. But yes, they did have seating and people in them. Many soldiers, couple of sailors, a nun. So, an interesting collection of passengers have ridden this train. Again, there's huge bits of glue on there. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this. There you go, you can see that. So down this window here, huge bit of glue visible. So that's all got to come out. I'm not worried about damaging the glazing because I will not reuse the glazing strips from these. I will use some clear acetate to make my own. I'm much more worried about the possibility of damaging the sides of the carriage, because that I don't want to do. Oh, and for the record, you couldn't see the interior in this carriage on these carriages when they were sat on a layout. It just looked black. It's very odd that this has been put together. So you can see where the glazing has come out there is no paint. So the glazing has been put in and then the paint applied afterwards. Oh, Tinker Tailor. Indeed not. Only on my DVD rack there's a Tinker, a Tailor, a Soldier and a Spy. That's why you need carriage lighting. Well, yes, but only if my layout's set at night, because of course, pre-grouping, there'd have been no way the lights would have been on before dark. I don't know if there was ways of putting it on yourself as a passenger later. But certainly not in the era that I'm modelling. I wonder when the time will come when carriages assembled on one person's live stream end up being stripped and rebuilt on another's. It's got to happen eventually, hasn't it, in theory? Yeah. That'd be weird to see. Even better if we see them running in some videos between times, until we get the full life of the carriage. As I say, all these need, or all they're getting, is a repaint. I did look at ways to do the alterations. The beading needs to be completely accurate, but honestly, it's not worth the effort. It would take a lot more work than you would see the result of. And I'm not sure I would get the finish as good quality. And whilst I would like them to be completely accurate, sides come completely off. That's what I didn't want to happen. But yes, whilst I'd like them to be completely accurate, I don't see the point in ruining something that is good enough to make it look not quite right. And there is a long list of links from Alex. We have my Discord server, my website, my Twitter, my merch store, my donation link, and my Patreon. Thank you for that, Alex. It is very much appreciated. I don't know if you've looked at Discord today, Alex, but you shall be lone modding tonight. No. You stick to the ends and the floor, not to me. There we go. Careful, the model railway community don't like good enough. Yeah, the model railway community can deal with it, basically. We are going to make some improvements to this. So these sets would have been close coupled. And I have been talking with the good lady Alex about South Eastern and Chatham close couplers. She has provided me the information I need, and I believe what we're going to go for here is the Hunt couplers. They're Mark III ones for the Oxford stock, the Oxford Mark IIIs, mounted through the buffer beam with a screw up into the floor, allowing them to swivel slightly and also keep these close coupled. What that does mean is the buffers have to go. Which is quite convenient because I think 2 were missing a buffer when I got them. Will these be lined, incidentally? I do hope to line them, yes. It will depend on how good I am at it. These pipes are also the wrong type of pipes. They should be mounted to the side and then angled up over the central hook, like this pipe here. Conveniently, I have a bag of 1,000 of those pipes. This will be an interesting project. These ratio four-wheelers might be useful for my planned underground layout. Ah, excellent. Interesting. Transfers or lining pen? Lining pen is the idea. Oh, close coupling, that'll be handy for when I do mine. That's a big bag of pipes. It is indeed. They came up on eBay a few years ago. And it was a case of, we ordered these in bulk for a customer. They changed their project. They're no longer needed, so we're just selling them off in bulk. And I was like, right, well, I'll have them then. I think I paid £20 for that bag of 1,000. Lining pen, goodness me, indeed. I've been having many talks with people on the Uckfield Monday nights about how to do these. And I think I'm going to be able to do it. I did not search for bagpipes. I'm sure I would have got a completely different type of pipe if I did. So they will be able to be nice and close coupled now. That's the theory. But as I say, all these need is a repaint. So what we have in my hand here is South Eastern and Chatham Coach Crimson by Phoenix Precision. Never been opened, this one. I bought it for the fact I knew I would be doing this at some point. I didn't know when, but I wanted some paint for them. So I got some paint for them when I was placing an order. I suppose really I should remove the handrail, shouldn't I? Look at that, first time it's ever been opened and it's being closed again without having anything done. I'm such a tease, aren't I, paint? Because of all the things I can do to improve these a little bit, that is within my ability. Removing the big Great Western style grab rails is one of them. And then I'll have to make up some Chatham style ones at some point, Southeastern style ones. Oh dear, took off a bit more than I intended to there. This is what happens when your knife blades haven't arrived yet. So you're still using a blunt blade. Oh, very GWR handrails, that may be sensible. Indeed, they are the thing that give it away the most, aren't they? I'm not going to worry about carving the bit inside the beading back, because the Southeastern ones will go over that. But yeah, again, the model rail constructor articles that these drawings come in, the May 73 one gives information on the formations that these trains went in. Numbers, carriage sets, makeup, everything in multiple years. So very handy to get a hold of that as well as the article. Did the SER have plain handrails? The SER handrails down and across. Now, I don't know how well that's showing up, but yeah, so it's down there, across is basically what I will go for. Actually, I might use a hat with Genesis for my SE&CR stock. I mean, no one would blame you for not removing the handrails on these. But it is something that I know I can do because I've had lots of practice doing it on Hornby carriages. See this side off. This isn't even the side that fell off before. Because this has no glue along the bottom, so that wasn't the side that I glued back on. But yeah, so obviously this is the project that won the vote that we have been holding all week. When I counted the votes yesterday, this had 6 votes in second place, and what will be our next project with 5 votes was the resin kit for the D3 from Golden Arrow Models. And then in third place with 4 votes was finishing the Craven tank by Javier. So those will be our next projects after this. After that, we might hold another vote again, as basically everything else got 2 votes. But I enjoyed having the input from the viewers as to what they want, as to what you all want to see. So I definitely want more input in the future. I can definitely see the difference from that, Alex. Yes, it's complex handrails. They are indeed. More thinking about not wanting to do the livery. Yeah, fair enough, Alex. Although you could do it unlined and no one would blame you. Transfers are available for these. I have them over here. For those that haven't seen, South Eastern and Chatham carriage transfers, numbers, emblems, class designations, and of course they are from Ian McCormack of EB Models. Fantastic service on those. I only ordered them off him last Monday. Nice transfers, although I know that he does SCR transfers, it's not exclusively Brighton. That is very true. But you'll notice that he doesn't actually have the EB Models name on these. I've got a feeling that these transfers predate him buying EB Models. And when I say I ordered them, what I mean is, I knew he'd done them in the past, and we were sitting there in the Uckfield Club Skype call on Monday, and I just said, Ian, don't suppose you've got any of those South Eastern and Chatham carriage transfers left, do you? And he went and looked for them and found them and stuck them in the post. Thing is, SCR and Midland Suburbans are generic enough that the Hattons ones are fine. I'll need to kit build and paint both LSWR and MVR, so I can limit how much I have to do, the better. Yes, fair enough. And so there are things you can buy to make this conversion easier than what we will be doing. Which I may have bought if they didn't win the vote. Such as you can buy the birdcage break end as a separate part from Roxy Mouldings. So if we weren't doing these now, I may have done that. But as it stands, I'm quite confident of cutting stuff like that out of plasticard anyway. Tell you what, this carriage feels like it's going to fall apart as well. For some reason, none of these carriages appear to have had the sides stuck to the floor. And of course, the thing to me with the Hattons ones, the thing to me is the South Eastern Railway carriages especially are distinctive because of that birdcage. Right, let's not tease the paint this time, let's actually put it on the carriage. Now obviously normally I would rather not be painting over painted sides, but I'm also not going to strip these because, well, I don't know how old the kits are. They've clearly done a few years on someone else's layout. I don't want to strip the paint and have the plastic melt on me. Luckily my area is XLCDR. Yeah, you're all right with XLCDR ones. I don't think these would be much cop for XLCDR ones anyway, actually. Melting plastic is suboptimal. I approve of unmelted plastic. Exactly. But look at that, just like that, we've got a much more southeastern looking carriage. And the southeastern carriages had their ends the same colour as the rest of the body. I remember back in my early Warhammer days accidentally melting plastic on my Space Marines. Ah, yeah, but they're only Space Marines. They're used to that sort of thing, aren't they? I mean, your wallet probably felt it. Ideally, I would remove the steps off the end here, but I feel that's a job better saved for a sharper blade. Look away for 2 seconds and suddenly I see a painted coach. Yeah, we got through it really quick, Thomas. Welcome back. As I said elsewhere, this is not a conversion for the purists. However, as a layout carriages, yeah, I can get words out, see, they will be fine. The errors are not glaring enough to be spotted as it trundles past you. The biggest one, of course, being the beading. And the Southeastern did have quite a distinctive style. And there we go. Suddenly, it's no longer Great Western. It's Southeastern. Is there a reason you apply the paint unfinned? Phoenix paint is a lot thinner than things like Humbrol and other brands. So I feel for brush painting, the Phoenix paint doesn't need thinning. Going through an airbrush, yes, it needs about 50-50 mix with thinners. But for brush painting, it is fine, in my experience. Other opinions are available. There's no point doing things for purists, drop fine, no matter what they do. They will indeed. And they'll probably jump on our web and rant about it. I mean, who cares if some toll rails are slightly the wrong size? Me, that's who. Or terriers. I'll say these will be getting hunt couplers, as I think they will make the best representation of Southeastern close coupling. Thinking of getting Dapple Terror and SR Green, those are not quite out yet, I think. Yeah, I don't think the southern ones are out yet, no. I do believe it's just the Umber one, the BR one, and the Kent and East Sussex one that are available now. Do we get to see the lining on stream? That'd be interesting. That would be the intention. Unless I change my mind and decide not to do it, yes. I am actually sat here now wondering about whether I will line them or not. Although it had been the original intention, and I did say that, as I said earlier, I am wondering if perhaps lining them might make the errors in the beading stand out. And therefore, could it be better to leave... No! Could it be better to leave them unlined? So I'm going to use this big blodge of paint that's now slowly making its way across my workbench instead of what's in the tin. That was silly. That's all the paint wanting to escape because I've had it for so long and never opened it. And it's like, haha, I'm free now. And I'm thinking, yes, you're free and all over a workbench. You ain't going to get very far there. Wouldn't they look obviously unlined if they were unlined? Well, yes, but I'm wondering if obviously unlined will look better than obviously wrong beading. Oh dear, paint spillage. I approve of unspilled paint. Well, that was silly. Surely the paint wants to fulfil its destiny of becoming part of a model. You'd think so, but there's a fair amount of it that's come out. It's about half a tin there. I'm not even sure I've got anything particularly good for scooping it back up and putting it away. Hydration is important, ladies and gentlemen. That is a lot of paint. I'm going to clean this paintbrush. Thin plasticard, I suggest. I think that's probably the right call, James. Hydration kittens, he says. Hang on. Do we have a PPE command yet? We do not yet. I need to write something for it. I mean, obviously now would be the ideal time for it. There you are, James. There's your hydration kittens. And some hydration puppies. Oh. PPE because eyes are useful. I approve of eyes being useful. Most of it has chosen to stay on the workbench. Oh, maybe the paint saw the drawings on the workbench and got confused about where it was meant to be. Yeah, that's what it is. Remember, kids, I make these mistakes, so you don't have to. I'm going to see if I've got another bit of plastic card this size. We use one of those compartments as a scraper. Use one of those. Ah, yes, one of the compartments, of course. I was just trying to think. I wondered if I've got another bit of plastic card this thing to use as a scraper. Good idea, Becca. Look at that, we've rescued most of it. You know what? That'll do. There's over 3/4 of the tube. So I'm going to put that to the side to dry. I'm going to cap that off. And then we're not going to spill it again, he says. Hopefully. Oh dear, we have sound problems. Do we? Oh, they've gone away. Good. I'm very glad they have gone away. That's better sounding. Brain cells had its token idea for the week. Well, it was a very good idea, Becca. Spicy Becca's idea was most cunning. It was indeed. You can really see the purple colour of the paint now, though, spread over there, much more than you can see it on the carriage. Of course, now we need to be able to use the workbench. This is why it's always handy to have something to clean your workbench, just kind of lying around. I say lying around, it actually hangs around because it's got a hook. It lives on this hook here, so it's always within reach to clean the workbench. And well, as you can see from the state of it, it gets used for that purpose a lot. Drop of thinners on the rag to clean the paint off. Ah, it's clean enough to touch now. Leave you all alone for less than an hour, and what do? You mucky pup. I knock my tin of Chatham paint over my good lady. How are you this evening? I hope you are well. I do, however, make some Great Western carriages look more southeastern. You wouldn't believe that that colour there is the same paint as that colour there, would you? Right, I'm going to again remind everyone, hydration is important, especially when it's a nice hot day. A little of the paint spilled via a brush onto the carriages, a lot spilled not via the brush onto the workbench. Well, now that depends, because I did catch the tin of paint with the brush to knock it over. So you could say it still went via the brush. So we've got a brake carriage to do, everyone, which needs to lose just one buffer. It's already lost the other one on that side. So obviously this is where the major work comes in. We do actually want to take this apart, which means it losing its last divider. And in fact we want to lose those pipes as well, don't we? So for these we're going to make a 2-compartment brake as per this one here. So we've got our 2 compartments, and then it gets very, very wrong. So we will be cutting either side of the ducket. If you then meet those sides together, you actually get the right length. However, that is not the only place we will be cutting. You might have noticed. We will also be cutting down here, and then again down at the end here, and then this part and this part will swap round, and we do keep the bit on the end, of course. So you will see we will then end up with something closely resembling that. Not 100% perfect, but close enough. So I heard I'm alright, feeling a bit soppy, a bit sleepy, otherwise I'm dandy, and they're looking good. Thought about this build myself, but had no need for suburban stock, unfortunately. I mean, technically I don't, but I've got enough P-classes that I want a variety of stock for them to pull. I still need to work out how to do the MR close coupling. They still have small buffers between the coaches. Well, you put small buffers on there. So those 12-wheel SER cars I've drawn for are still very tempting. Alex, what I do is have buffers head to head, use a staple, U-shaped piece of wire, slot into a whole drill. I'd listen to her, you know. I would listen to her. She knows what she's on about. We probably want to pull these buffers off as well, because we won't be using this end, will we? We'll be making a replacement. Either on top of or underneath buff shanks, they'd stay coupled, and the lines might even get prototypical close coupled wiggle. See, she knows her stuff. And of course now the easy thing to do here would be to throw this chassis away and use a chassis from one of the already the right length kits. That's not what we'll be doing. Oh god, the noise sounds off a bit. Noise? What have I done? What have I broke? I can see my microphone still responding. I'm assuming it's when I drag this around and we got these nice rusty steel wheels on the glass. Good that, innit? So, since you're now here, young lady Alex, I was wondering, with these carriages, obviously the beading style is totally wrong. It's fine now, it's deafening before. How strange. Obviously the beading on these is completely wrong for the southeastern. So my wonderings that you'll be able to help with, what's going to look more wrong? If I line them and it's the wrong beading, the wrong panelling style, or if I leave them unlined, what do you reckon? That was the only bit of glazing left in that one. That was the one the glazing fell out of. See, why couldn't the other carriages have their glazing stuff in that well? Would have made life so much easier. Intermittent white noise, did you knock the mic? No, I'm not actually close enough to the mic to knock it. I can see something going on now, hang on. Right. Okay, I'll be alright. No, I see it again. I'd leave them unlined personally, make it probably not very notable otherwise. If you want a different representation line, go for one colour. Oh, it's not going to go away, is it? Maybe it is. Thank you, Alex, anyway. That is, yeah. As I intended on lining them properly, but then I thought, actually, will they look a bit rubbish if I do? Time to start the barbecue. I'll keep the stream up for you. Okay, enjoy your barbecue, Toy Man. Thank you for doing that. Very much appreciated. I think we're okay. Right, so the problem is either the port on the laptop or the cable itself. The problem is, whilst I have USB sound card adapters, I don't have a spare USB port to plug into to test. And I don't have a spare XLR to 3.5mm cable to test either. And of course, when I am getting those problems, I can only see them by having the mic turned on in Streamlabs, so I can't fix it unless I'm actually live with it going. Otherwise, I would have flipped you over to the tech diff screen and given you some nice music to go with. But hopefully, we'll be okay now. Don't forget to smash that like button, everyone. Plus, drop a sub if you haven't already. Thank you for mentioning that, Alex. That is very much appreciated. Indeed, likes, subscribes, all that jazz. Very, very much appreciated. Now, I haven't actually noticed the chatbot pop up its timed messages once tonight. Has anyone else seen the chatbot pop up any of its timed messages? Because I think it's broken. And that's very rude of it. So, back to where we were before. We're going to cut down along the edge of the ducket. And that gives us our 2 compartments there. We did a couple a while back. It's supposed to do them every 15 minutes. Twitter and like smashing. Fair enough. So I haven't actually noticed any of them. And I normally do. It is bugging me to update it though, which it also did last week and I never did. And there's our nice chunky ducket into the bin. Ah, there we go. A plug for the website. Thank you, chatbot. Much appreciated. About time, eh? Just reading my guide quickly. Right, so to cut down here, leaving the vertical moulding intact. Like so. So that will go there, and that will go there. These will swap places. With that there, and that there, And that there, and suddenly we've got something that looks a lot more akin to our South Eastern Railway carriage. Move light, there we go. So obviously those bits just now need cleaning up and reattaching. Isn't it nice when you've got a decent blade? Gosh, cut and shut action, indeed. And then, to go with our decent blade, we have a decent set of files for cleaning parts up. But it's got a nice handle to hold and everything. I went big on tool investment this month, can you tell? Decent files. What is this brave new world? Indeed. And there is that piece ready to be stuck together. Evening also on so late. Good evening, Heritage Railway Productions. Don't ever be sorry for being late. Just, bring a note from your doctor or something as to why you were late. No need to be sorry, though. How are you this evening, anyway? I do hope you are well. Very good, thank you. Hope you're well too. I am very well, thank you. Is it me or is Streamlabs is seizing again? It looks okay to me. I've not got any warnings of dropped frames and stuff that I normally get when Streamlabs is playing about. So I'm really hoping it's just you. And I've now remembered that I forgot to cut all the handrails off this piece, didn't I? That was very silly of me. Now that is not as straight as I would like. Okay, James didn't have any issues. Good to know it was just you, Javier. Sometimes I like it when other people are having problems. That's better. Let's clear this dust away. Again, having something around to sweep up dust with. In this case, a makeup brush. They're ideal for that, you know, you can brush down your models with them really easily. Very handy thing to have. And there we have our side for our brake carriage. Oh, I like. There we go, which I think is looking reasonably good. The beading style's wrong, but it has the right number of panels and stuff on it, so it could be worse. And then we want to be able to strengthen this so we get some slightly thicker than we had before plasticard. We have to switch the nice saw blade out and put the blunt, because the new ones haven't arrived yet, knife blade in. I'll just mark that there. That's slightly oversized, but as I've said before, I like cutting slightly oversized because you can remove material. It's a bit harder to add it back in afterwards. Well, cut and cut and cut. Cut and cut and cut and shut. Yes, indeed. So then we will be gluing this to the back of here, and we'll do another strip across the top for the same, and that will give us much more strength in the side once it is all together. Anyway, I think there's a lot of cuts in this one. Just wait till we get to the other side. This side, the single door, is here with no beading either side of it. So we've got to cut down there to get our compartments, cut down there, then we need a single bit of, then we need to mess around with the beading to get that in the right place. So there's plenty of cutting and shutting left to do. And then after all that, we need to end with two carriage sides that are the same length. That's the real trick here. We'll have a bit of cutting and shutting. I thought you might, Corpse. I thought you might. Now, super glue. I want you to stick the bits of plastic together, not to me. Right, there's a couple of bumps there I'm going to cut out, and hopefully we'll get a better grip. And I still haven't cut away those handrails. And because I've done it on the other two, I have to do it on this one, it will look out of place. There we go. That's got rid of the bumps on the top in advance of trying to stick it. Oh, and there's the chatbot again. I noticed you this time, chatbot. So we'll leave those bits dry and remove some more handrails. Including the long one on the guard section. And now I'll move my chair back in because it was quite far out for some reason. And we'll remove all the bumps from this one in advance, because we know it just won't stick if we don't. So how are we all doing anyway, folks? Do we have any of our own projects going on tonight? And what are they? Please do tell me. You know I love to hear about them. So I'm not stuck to the carriage, I'm stuck to myself, but through the window of the carriage. There we go. It's a pleasure to see the master at work. Well, I'm not sure about Master Bob, but thank you. I will take the compliment. How are you this evening? I hope you are well, sir. Big up on the pack shop glue. Yep, indeed. Then catch up with a few wagons before Burgundy's deadline, actually. Day fresh. Oh God, yeah. I forgot about that. I'm supposed to be sending him an article. I was supposed to do that today. Someone on the Discord, if you fancy poking me tomorrow to remind me I've got to send Eric an article, because I will probably forget again otherwise. Thanks. All okay, folks? Excellent, glad to hear it, Bob. Even the VDL is playing up on me now. I think it's like car. Well, that's not something I expected to hear, Alex. Does that mean you're going to stop being a train sim streamer and become a truck sim streamer? Or are you going to go back to being a variety streamer? Don't I can remember. He blooming messaged me a week ago and asked if I'd actually done it. He's like, oh yeah, I just need to finish a few bits on it and I'll send it over. It'll be done for the end of the week. That obviously went really well, as you can tell. He's saying I'm going to keep streaming. Now, you can't not stream. That's not allowed. What would I do on a Friday night if you stopped streaming? And how will I ever experience the glory of the Mafia remaster and all those Assassin's Creed games? Don't say I could get them and play them myself, because that's not going to happen. Positive, I've said something similar before. My modelling desk is a mess. Hardly anyone watches me play other games, so what's the point? I watch you though. I watch. And so there we have a now solid side. Look, we're going to go in top-down view again. Which I think looks quite reasonably like what we're after here. It definitely looks like the one the guy in the article that wrote the article made. Only the ones in his pictures are a bit more finished and have birdcage ends on them. Of course, it now is a bit too short for this chassis. It is, however, as promised, the same length as these other carriages. Though that lorry video did make me incredibly sleepy, the best as I slept very well after I got into Scotland. Is that super using to fix the pieces together? It is just classic pound shop super glue. 30p a bottle, because it, well, 33.3p a bottle, because it comes in packs of 3. Don't think there's necessarily a point at all to streaming. It's something to do where you can pass the time with people who do turn up, and the numbers shouldn't matter as long as people do. I concur, good lady Alex. You are quite right there. I approve of turning up. I approve of people turning up as well. I also approve of hydration. So yes, that is side the first done. And we need to do the same in reverse for side the second. which means switching the handle back over to the knife blade. Hello, Spike Bishop. Welcome. How are you this evening? I hope you are well. You know what, actually, before we do that, I'm going to put the knife blade back in the handle and remove these handrails before cutting it all up. Very well, how are you? I am very well as well, thank you. You join us working on converting a ratio brake into a Southeastern Railway brake. We have just finished the first side, which is now looking a lot more like our drawing here. We already have the third and composite that all they actually needed is a repaint. Sat in the background there. Right. Now I can switch to the saw blade. So we want to come down this gap here. And then we want to come down next to the ducket here. And then next to the ducket on the other side. We slipped off the line we wanted, hopefully this will put us back on it. There we go, much better. And the ducket can go in the bin, we no longer need that. So now I need to work out how we do these compartments. Apparently we want that there with 3 before the double doors. Yeah, so I think we cut down, we've got the raised bit there, so we cut down this side of the raised section. And that connects like that, they'll be fine. And then we want to cut down the other side of this raised bit of beading. Because you see, whilst I've got this guide up in front of me, it very helpfully only actually gives instructions for the one side, and then leaves you to work this side out yourself. But we're there. So obviously it still needs tidying up, but there is our other side. And I'm hoping we've not had any more microphone issues. And there is the bot wanting us to know that hydration is important. My hydration vessel is empty, so I will finish cleaning up these sides and get it refilled. Because the bot is right, hydration is indeed important. Been fine since you messed with it. Excellent. I really must take the laptop apart and see if there's anything I can do to sort it. I must now refill the hydration vessel. We are with the generic store brand orange liquid this evening. Fizzy and sugar free, as is the best. So hydration is indeed important. As is tilting the camera back to straight. I don't know how well people viewing can tell when the camera's at a slight angle with how it looks at the workbench, and whether it looks at an angle or if it just looks like you're pointed slightly diagonally. But it bugs me if it's at an angle, because I can see the camera. Speaking of, actually, the camera is something else I need to take apart and modify at some point. I know, dangerous stuff that, isn't it? But the camera is designed for face cam. So it's got two lights on it to let me know when it's turned on and working. And those lights are on the front of the camera. So if I look, you can see them there. So there's the camera lens, And there's the lights down each side to let me know that the camera is on. They're no good to me sitting behind it, are they? So I want to modify them and put them on the top. Alternatively, you could use a mirror. I could. As I say, I'm thinking I'll just modify it, open it up, modify it, and move the LEDs onto the top. Possibly even sticking out the top so you can see them from in front or behind, or the side. Reflection. But it would be nice to see if something's going wrong with them. And as I do sometimes, be in front of the camera. Okay, never on this channel have I been in front of the camera, but sometimes I am in front of the camera and can see them. I didn't want you to flip over. Oh, this is going well, isn't it? So in theory, these should be the same length now. They look to be. We'll know for definite once it's stuck together. So we'll pop the file up there. We'll move all these out of the way. And we will clean up the work area for the next step. Which is, of course, to slice out our two strengthening beams. So we'll switch back over to the knife. You know, I probably would have got two of these handles if I'd have got it with the intention of using it live on YouTube. So I didn't have to keep switching it. But that was never the intention of it. And there's our two strengthening bars. Doing really well at picking that one up. Still felt a bit like it wasn't down properly. Since we saw the trouble these caused on the last bit. That's a bit better. And then we want this bit, which has a few more bits to be removed. So we've got some new people turned up since I last asked, so I will ask again. How are we all doing this evening? Do we have any projects on the go tonight whilst we are watching? I do enjoy hearing about them. If you do, please do let me know. Laying cork on my engage this evening. Well, I'm assuming you've been on the Discord earlier, James, and seen that I too have been laying track bed today. And for 9mm track for that matter. Have indeed, good narrow gauge progress. Indeed, I'm very happy with it. None of the track bed is actually stuck down yet, because obviously I need to get the lower level track down before I can put the upper level track bed down. But I am hoping to start on track laying tomorrow. Because other than the one set of points, I have all the track. And I can always just put a plain bit of track in there for the time being until I can get a set of points and run trains. A happy bank holiday task. It is indeed. It is, I believe, the happiest of bank holiday tasks. Watching a film and now I'm off to bed. So I have to go to work tomorrow. Well, thank you for coming by, Paderborn. Has been good to have you here. Sleep well, but don't work too hard. Because we're not back in England. Never. Good. Good, good, good. Work too hard, that is. That's what I assumed you meant by never. I am indeed glad to hear you won't be working too hard. Couldn't be having that now. I've been doing lots of Welsh narrow gauge on train sim in the past couple of days. Oh, excellent. Excellent indeed. See, my narrow gauge is supposedly in Sussex. Layout set in the Ashdown Forest. Yay, they are the same size. We did a thing. Silly old chorus telephone. There's Alex with the important questions. Sadly, I may have to abandon my erstwhile narrow gauge plan to fit in the latest underground plan. You need a bigger shed, James. Mix of them all, really. Excellent. But look, we did a thing, they're the same size. And all the holes are in the same places. Obviously they need a bit of filler. But they are looking good. Where is my filler, for that matter? Can't have a bigger shed without a bigger garden. It already fills most of the garden as it is. Annex the neighbours. Oh no, I cannot find my filler. That could be a problem. That could put a halt on this one. I mean, we've got another set of sides to make there. So we've got plenty to do. We've got ends to make. We've got chassis to shorten. But if I can't find my filler, I can't even do it next week because I won't have any filler by next week. Sort of Garden Empire. Indeed, James. Proof of whole being the same place. Right, I'm off to bed. We'll catch up on the stream tomorrow, so make sure to have a good rest of the stream. Alright, thank you for coming, Becca. Has been great having you here. Of course, you helped save the day earlier. Very much appreciated. Sleep well, and I shall speak to you again soon. But yeah, that's a pain if I can't find my filler. I've got a fresh tube of it recently. But yes, see, we also need to take that much out the chassis. And this is the problem with using steel wheels. They are just so rusty. We'll put them next to the ones I cleaned off. And even if it doesn't focus, you can tell the difference between as they've come and the pair that I cleaned off. I'm assuming they're Gibson wheels, they're 4 EM gauge. Of course, the good thing about EM gauge wheels is to make them 00 gauge, you get your back-to-back gauge and you push them together, and the flanges are fine for 00 gauge. So it takes no more than that to do it. Does anyone know the waiting time for the email for UK Train SIM password after you sign up? Unfortunately, I do not. I imagine if it's making you wait for something, it probably needs manually approving by a moderator. In which case, it may well vary. Let's take the brake cylinder off. God, that blooming gas tank doesn't want to come off though. There we go. I'm going to do it with the footboards in place though, I can't be bothered to remove those. Probably been 18 years since I signed up with them, so no, sorry. Well, not long then, Alex. Pretty new member. So we'll wrap some masking tape round. Now is when I discover that masking tape is the same thickness as the ducket, and I should have just wrapped it round the middle, isn't it? Oh, it isn't all. So, this bit of masking tape is evidently how much I want to remove. Yeah, spot on. Good that, innit? And we're going to do this properly, unlike the sides of the carriage. Because I have a meter box, which will mean that it will hold the knife blade, the saw blade, nice and straight for me. Ah, this blade must be slightly thicker than the old ones. Handy. So very handy. In fact, I'm going to do it from this side and go through the footboards first. I'm impressed at how well that footboard stayed together, actually. Well, I didn't actually want you to lift out of there. So it's good having a blade that's that bit wider than your old ones and doesn't fit in your meter box. It's really, really awesome. We're through. Hello, Viaduct Central Model Railway. How are you this evening? Welcome. Hydration's important, everyone. So these, cleaned up and stuck back together, are the size we want. Excellent. I'll tell you what, I know you lot tell me quite often that I'm good at this, but I'm actually really shocked at how well this conversion is going. So, just like we did with the sides, we're going to take a bit of plasticard to act as a strengthener. That went well. I think I'm going to have to take all the ratio text off the bottom of this. Fine. Should have known from the sides, really, shouldn't I? It's nice and smooth now. And look at that, just like that, it's holding. I am happy that there has been razor saw action. Excellent. I am glad you are happy there has been razor saw action, Corbs. I love how I've used a meter box and still managed to cut it at an angle. It's a shame my razor saw action doesn't come accompanied by music as good as yours, really, when it happens on your channel, Corbs. And those are straight. Does Corbs have special razor saw music? The music that Corbs uses for his time lapses is amazing every single time. Honestly, even if you're not interested in what he's doing, his videos are worth checking out just for the music. And there we have a side that fits onto the chassis again. Despite us having chopped a rather large chunk out of it. Gosh, very cut and shut. Indeed, very cut and shut. His music is not Wagner, but trust me, it's worth it. It's better than my channel's weird obsession with saxophone music. I know that you're not ideally wanting to be joined by a butt joint like that, but it's happening. Stay stuck. Silly thing, not wanting to be stuck. Has anyone else been baking cake this week? I have not, because this week my cousin's bakery reopened. Seven weeks of enforced lockdown closure. So of course we celebrated the reopening of my cousin's bakery by going there and buying cakes from him. And they were absolutely glorious. Cousin with a bakery is indeed a happy thing. I discussed some baking ideas with him whilst I was up there, and I'm tempted to make some things and take them down to him and say, oi, sell these and let's split the profit if they turn out good. Or at the very least let him try some of my baking for a change. approve of baking ideas. Best thing about cake, it tastes of cake, it's made of cake. I mean, yes, definitely. But I was more thinking a flapjack base with brownie on top, with a thin crust over the top of that of cookie. I mean, the cookie bit might have been his idea, but I think it sounds fantastic. This needs cutting down as well. Interestingly, although they're not quite right because it's meant to be one either side, doesn't mention any lamps on here, so I think it's just the torpedo vents. They're in the right place. That sounds like a very different sort of cake. What would one call it? I don't know. But it sounds good, doesn't it? Let's be honest. So yeah, what we need to do next is cut the roof down as well. Which of course will be another job for the meter box. That's not gone on there straight, I can tell from the rain strips. It sounds like a potential heart attack. I approve. I thought you would. I'm very tempted to make someone take it down there and see what he thinks. So that is fine on that side. And yet that lines up fine on that side. So we've got that on nice and straight. Right, it's the same thickness as the meter box, and it's held it straight by these lines down the meter box. So if I somehow manage to cut this at an angle, I will not be impressed. And it's not like the saw can go to an angle inside here, it's blooming wider than the holes. And we're through. And we now have a roof, the right size, with, lamps, which it shouldn't have, but I'm aware. I need to check some photos. I do have some photos somewhere. Need to get some more torpedo vents, although I do have some, and we'll get those stuck on next time. We have a roof the right size. The roof needs a chunk cutting out the middle of it for where the bird cage will go. this end to be kept. This end will lose its buffer beam and the buffer beam will be kept. And then we need to make our birdcage end. Sounds like the cylinder 060. Well, there's something on the channel sounding like a train for a change. And that end can go. And so now we have many copies of the drawing that is there. I checked these earlier against the carriages to make sure that we were dealing with the right size. I even checked them, although albeit on this one, against the roofs to make sure we had everything definitely the right size. And that is of course after also checking them with rulers and everything. Because when I'm printing drawings to scale, I go a bit overboard on checking them to make sure they're right. But then we cut them down. Better overboard than underboard, indeed. Day at work ahead, so we'll turn in now. Night everyone, stay safe. Good night, Bob. Thank you for coming by. It has been great to see you here. And I assume you're at the nursery tomorrow then, so enjoy that. And I shall speak to you again soon. So to make the ends, we apply double-sided tape to the drawing. Great week. Yes, watering and yet more watering as it warms up. Fair enough. I'm getting the kids in the garden to do some planting tomorrow, whether they like it or not. So they'll also be doing lots of watering. We can keep this bit for later. Stick it back on the roll. Hydration plants. Yes, James, indeed. Plants also need hydration. It is important, even for them. Make sure it's as pushed down as we can, and hopefully then only the backing comes off when we peel at the back. Which of course never happens. Does happen on that bit though. Can you set up your channel bot to give a randomised response? I believe so. I believe that is a feature. There we go. And we stick that as hard as we can to the bit of plasticard. That might be useful for the PPE command. Yeah, but that means I've got to come up with multiple things. I struggle enough coming up with one. Just gonna get some of this plastic residue off of this blade. Those new blades cannot arrive soon enough. Along with some new drill bits actually, they're also still in the post. I've just realised I could have just done that to show you the end size that we're making earlier, couldn't I? Yeah, okay, you've got a few there, James. And we start by cutting the straight sides. So we're just getting it kind of square. I have been known to run the blade this way just to make a little score mark all the way up. That I can then use as a guide for a proper cut. Of course, this becomes a problem when the blooming tape hasn't stuck down properly. There was a tiny little air bubble there. And it completely ruined that side. And we just want to snip off at the bottom. And then we've just got that awkward shape around the top to make. And then it's when the new drill would come in handy, because I have the right size drill bit to do the windows. When doing roof shapes, I always find it easiest if you start by cutting away the bulk of the material, allowing you to get a bit of flexibility in the plastic as you're cutting it, which lets you move your knife around corners easier. Actual modelling tips. You don't come here for them anymore, do you? It's been so long. You could, of course, alternatively, keep doing this until you're getting very, very close to the roof line, and then do the final shaping with a file. That is an equally valid method. And one I may go for, just to show that it's equally valid. There we have our first corner. And our second corner. This is kind of the wrong colour for getting focus on here, isn't it? But it's there, sort of. So when it comes to doing the other side, you have to remember that I've shown you this method, and we want to see it with a knife blade. And there we have our roof piece, which now needs the windows to come out. There are 4 windows, not 5. The one in the middle is solid. And we do that with a drill. So we're going to come over to here where we're not on the glass. And we're going to chain drill out the windows. You can see them better from this side. And we'll just go round with the knife, joining all those holes together and poke them out. And then of course we just clean up to get the shape we want with the file. Yeah, be very careful along the thinner sides. As we don't want to break them. Also, there are other methods for getting your drawing onto the plastic card. One I have seen is to print your drawing on an inkjet printer, but mirrored, so your whole drawing is backwards. Lay the paper ink down on the plastic card, and then put some nail varnish remover on it. And that will transfer the ink off onto the plastic card apparently, and then let it dry out. Not a method I have ever tried myself, so I cannot verify its results. I do believe I've heard of things other than nail varnish remover being used as well, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. And of course, if you've got a different way of doing it, there is no wrong way unless it doesn't work. There we go, it's actually flat now. And suddenly we're halfway there. You can say it in chat, I'm not saying it on the audio. I know this isn't difficult, but it does make me glad I'm not having to make birdcage stock. Well, as you say, it's not difficult. And, as I pointed out earlier, you can now buy these ends separately from Roxy Mouldings, which you couldn't do when the article was published. Of course, it was published, as I say, April 1985. So it's been a while. Yeah, that's the one, James. Gold. Always believe in your soul. See, I'd be more inclined to do singing if we weren't on YouTube. Because A, if we were on Twitch, it goes away afterwards. And B, I wouldn't get done for copyright. YouTube greater than YouTube. As I told YouTube the last time they asked me to do a survey, I'm only here because the audience is here. Yeah, as YouTube is telling me right, well, Streamlabs is telling me right now, I'm sitting here doing this for 8 people. And that's on the platform with the biggest number of active users. I'm the audience, I'm also on PhD. Well, I'm part of the audience, yeah. It's the other parts of the audience that are the problem, James. But you'll be glad to know that was genuinely my answer to YouTube asking me why I chose YouTube as my platform. To them I say, PhD greater than YouTube. Gosh, that's a fine bit of bird cagery. It looks better from behind where you can't see all the paper in the way, but it's certainly getting there. Thank you, James. Right. Let's bring you all back over here. This will obviously at some point need attaching to this, which will mean it needs cleaning up. It will at some point need attaching to this. There we go, look, we're definitely southeastern now. Oh yes. I'm going to put that aside for a minute and do something different. Because of course I don't want to bore you all forever. I'm going to double check my measurements. It is indeed 26 mil, as promised in the article. Which of course means finding the centre and measuring out 13 mil from each side. Remember, hydration is important. Yes, well, when all the other YouTubers I watch make the swim, I'll happily start using it. They don't make the switch without encouragement. YouTube, you can say it all you want, it's not going to change anything. He's right, you know, James. I am here because the audience is here. And if the audience isn't going anywhere, neither am I. So that is 34 mil long. So we want to make a mark there, and that will be our centre point. And then we want to come down. Of course, to be a bit of flash right in the place I want to draw. $13mm in each direction. Yes, that is perfect. That is where we want to be. And we want to come in by 21mm. So we'll make a line there. We'll make a line there. There's the tape. And that marks where we want to cut to. Why would any YouTubers book their viewer base by doing that though? Be business suicide. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm not one for splitting my user base. I know the people are here, so I'm staying here. And there's our hole in the roof. And there is the hole for our guard to be able to poke his head up through the birdcage. And so remember to smash that like button, everyone, for South Eastern Railway birdcages. Very much is appreciated. We are in the last 15 minutes of the stream now. think that bit of glue is going to need to come off with the knife. There's rather a lot more there than I realised. So a bit of tidying up of the roof here, which obviously in the case of a new kit you wouldn't have to do. But I got these free pre-built because they were a very, very good price. So there was no way I was going to turn them down. That now fits in there nicely, and that now fits in there nicely. So we really are getting close to having that one in a buildable state. The next things we need to do are salvage this bit of roof and clean this up. I believe it's going to need some bits adding to it, but it will make up. In fact, we don't, because I've got several more I can cut bits out of. But it could make up the bulk of the top of the birdcage, of course. Oh, nice. Slightly the wrong profile for the birdcage. That's a shame. Oh well, go on then. Would have needed a lot adding as well, and I think I've got 4 roofs in here, so if I was going to use a bit of roof to do it, it would come out of there. So we are now indeed very close. So we've got the front of the birdcage to make. And we've got all the bits of beading to go on here, which is actually a good portion of it. So this whole top section is beading, and then we've got all the bits coming down. So that will all be made out of the really thin stuff. That's 10 thou as opposed to, I believe, 30 thou for this. To do the beading, we've got to put some compartment dividers in these two. And then we've got the fourth carriage to do, which will be the 3-compartment brake. And we've you know, I think we've done very well for a single evening like this. If we take these compartment dividers here, I can make a mark there. And a mark there. And probably one in the middle as well. And I can punch the camera. Oh, that's the first time tonight. And there we have a strip ready for being turned into a compartment divider. Or a lot of compartment dividers. And if we again use this compartment divider that already exists, I can cut it out to a shape I know will fit the carriages. Just like that. Because whilst I don't generally do full interiors for carriages, I do find that they are vastly, the dividers are vastly important. They block you from being able to see through in ways you shouldn't be able to see through. And whilst I have modelled very, very detailed full interiors in the past, I've never been able to see them, and some of the comments I've had have kind of put me off doing it again. So I have had lots of comments about carriages I've made in the past that I've put all this effort into, about minor details on them being wrong. And my response was, well, why bother putting that much effort in to just be told they're wrong? Oh, that bends out, curves out at the bottom. That would be why it doesn't fit. Surely once all goes in the budget accounts and then presumably for your not to please that sort of person, detail not give you pleasure. I mean, I derive pleasure from people seeing my modelling. If you couldn't tell by my being on YouTube where there's a big audience to watch it. And again, we're talking about details that I can't see. And it's these details you can't see, they're not that important. And sometimes you can get just as much pleasure from something knowing it's not quite the best. But that it's right. Things can have flaws and still be great. Off to bed now, it's been rather enjoyable. Okay, thank you for coming, Thomas. So we are just about to end anyway. So thank you for being here. And sleep well. Surely you shouldn't let the rivet counters have a disproportionate effect on your modelling. But why put that effort in for something I can't see? Once the roof's on, it's all black in there. Carriages are normally best with floors, I find. But yes, yes indeed, James. So that carriage just needs painting black on the inside. It's come out a fantastic lake colour. I don't know how well you can see that. Do you know that you wouldn't be able to see it when you added the detail? Actually, I didn't know how little I would be able to see. No. I mean, it's a push-pull set that I did it on, and the amount of detail I put into the drive-in cab, not be able to see anything. And I know you can't see anything on these with an interior, because as I say, they came with an interior. You couldn't blooming well see it though, but it was there. But yeah, I am so happy with the colour that's on that. It's going to be a fantastic rake when they're done. Shame they're not done yet. But I think we've done quite well here. Two carriages in paint. One that is now very nearly a full kit of parts to make up what we want. The very brown carriage, it is indeed. And slightly purple. Very purpley brown. So this is the same paint here. But yes, so there we are, we have passed midnight. So I'm going to, for one last time tonight, remind you all, hydration is important. I'm going to thank you all for coming. I think we've had a fantastic live stream, almost ready for the commute. Indeed, Corbs, almost ready for the commute, indeed. I mean, they're better than what you get on Southern these days. So, yes, thank you for coming. I've had a great time. You have all been awesome as always. I look forward to picking this up again next week and getting them. Well, I mean, next week we can probably get the brake carriage put together, and possibly even get the majority of the work on the second brake carriage done. That'd be absolutely fantastic if we can. So, yes. Do remember to smash the like button if you haven't already, subscribe, ring the notification bell, come back on Tuesday for my video that uploads then, and maybe even come back Thursday to get another look at these fine carriages before the next live stream on next Sunday. But for now, all left me to say is this has been Let's Field. I've been Gary, and you've been awesome. Good night.